of the South African Human Rights Commission. Good to have you. Thank you very much for being our guest here. You've already done an investigation into the Madibeng local municipality's water problems. Quickly tell us what the findings are.
The investigation that we'd done in Madibeng is very similar to our findings in a number of areas around the country, where water has not been reaching the people who need it. And so there's been a whole process that the Commission's been going through since the provincial hearings in every province across the country. And what they've shown is that there needs to be immediate access to clean drinking water that's linked to long-term sustainable plans that need to be put in place in every municipality across the country. Yeah. And the DPME stats that you quoted was in response to a finding that the Commission had made, in which it had called on the Presidency's DPME to provide the Commission with a report on what was happening in relation to sanitation, and of course it had to deal with water as well across the entire country. Yeah. And the statistics were quite shocking.
I mean, one can only imagine what happens in a situation like this. What is the procedure when you find out that there is no access to drinking water and government is failing to supply it? What happens?
There must be immediate action. For example, in provinces, in municipalities in the Free State, we immediately subpoenaed a municipality which didn't comply with our finding. And we found that once we'd subpoenaed the one municipality, all the other municipalities immediately followed suit. So the issue of they shouldn't be waiting for that. And national government, in terms of the National Water Act, the national minister is empowered to act and to intervene where there is clearly what constitutes a water emergency. So people don't have to experience what is effectively institutionalized violence. So the child falling into the toilet, into the pit toilet in Limpopo, is institutionalized violence. When the parents of such a child actually experience that, and the death was really following on numbers of children across the country who fall into the pit toilets every day and have to walk home after that. Or remain in school after that. So this is the shocking reality. This is the brutalization of people across South Africa, and the Madibeng municipality is in the former Bapututswana homeland. Madibeng means place of water. Yeah. It's actually got 4 dams there. It's got one of the wealthiest parts of the country in terms of the platinum industry and chrome, etc. So it's a very wealthy part of the country. It's not a poor part of the country.
No, and water access should be the
people
basic
who are
right.
poor are from the former homelands. One of the things of our findings was that people who didn't have access today, who don't have access today, mirror the old apartheid map of people in apartheid's homelands, townships, informal settlements. That can't be acceptable in present-day South Africa in 2014, almost 20 years into our democracy. So the Commission is going to be releasing its report on its hearings, on its engagement with government, on the DPME's report to us in the period of the budget, of budget day, because the DPME's own report says that one of the key challenges in terms of water is a lack of adequate funding and poor revenue collection. Yeah. And it's also about unclear municipal powers and functions and a non-ring-fenced water services function. So the issues of the issues that arise afterwards, such as police action, have to be dealt with in terms of the Commission's expert witness of Marikana said very clearly, and he had 30 years of experience in policing leadership in Ireland. He said not once in the most violent protest did he ever order the use of live ammunition. And it's about whose lives are valued.
Absolutely. Dr. Pregs Govender, I have to leave it there, unfortunately.
That's fine. Thank
I
you very
know
much.
I had asked you to stay on, but unfortunately you do have to go. But we need to get to the news at 7 o'clock. So we'll leave it there. Dr. Pregs Govender, SA Human Rights Commission, joining us here on Morning Live. Let's take a break.